Okay, controversial opinion time. My kids are 16 and 14, and they do not have any limits on the amount of time they can spend on screens, computers, or phones. And they do not have any limits on what they can or can't do online. A couple of years ago, my son was in a group chat in WhatsApp, and some online bullying started happening. And this was just a group of friends who had been at the same school together, and they'd all moved up to the new school. So these kids had known each other 6 years in primary school, were all good friends. And then some bullying started happening in this group chat, and my son, at 12 years old, was incredibly distressed by it. And he shared with his aunt what was happening. He shared with me. And then we had a discussion about how we should move forward and what he wanted to do. And he told me, well, I've already messaged the people who are doing the bullying and said, hey, you need to stop. That's not okay, what you're saying. And I've messaged the person who's being bullied and asked if they're okay and checked in on them. And then he had a cry, with me, and could share his emotions. And I said, don't ever stop having a big heart like this, please. And I said, listen, I've looked at the messages and I think this is actually quite serious. And I think we should let the school know so they can try and talk to some of these kids involved about the situation. And he was like, yeah, okay, that's all right. And the school did, and they took it seriously. So yeah, this stuff can and will happen. But I really genuinely believe the way to deal with it is to educate our children ahead of time, have open dialogue, and have a relationship where they can come to us and talk about what they're doing online and if they have any concerns, rather than restrict what they're doing. Some of you who may have been following me will know a little bit of my story, or if you've gone and listened to one of you on a podcast, you know all of my story. So I grew up with authoritarian, traditional parenting. And I'm the one who's been in multiple abusive relationships because I thought control and coercion were normal. And my parents fucking loved me to bits. I have incredibly loving parents. And if you're watching this, Mum and Dad, hi, I fucking love you guys. They were not harsh or cold. They were very loving, but they did what everyone else did. And I didn't have a mobile phone like we've already established. I spent a lot of time playing outdoors. But growing up in a capitalist society where control and coercion were used at school and at home, as I say, I'm the one who's been in multiple abusive relationships and an addict, now in recovery, nearly 5 years clean, and working towards having a different story for my children. I believe that empowering them to make their own choices is the answer. Teaching them how to assess and take risks safely is the answer. Not restricting everything. Children need to learn how to take risks on their own with our guidance and support. I'm not suggesting we just throw them out there, to the wolves and let them do their own thing, like whatever, they'll figure it out. No, we need to be there alongside them, with them in this. But yeah, I just needed to say all that because it's really getting on my nerves.